let's make this the most successful Mega Mix yet. Don't miss a beat when the Lo-Fi Mega Mix 2020 is released. Have fun vibing, Mega Mixers!
Alright guys, starting show today, this little tutorial here. Gonna be working today on chest poly style. And I wanted to start this tutorial with a chest, something very simple, just to get you guys acquainted with the process and how I go about working on the poly style. Of course, whatever we do here is going to be useful for making characters or features or whatnot. It's just plain basics, and I think a chest entails a lot of the mechanics that we use for those type of things. Okay, so let's just dive in. Here's a new project, get out of the window, and like any good old Blender user, let's delete this, including the cube, and just get another cube back in, because that's what we commonly do without any actual reason behind it. Okay, so one thing I recommend is that you get some references. I got this asset here, it's called Pure Ref. It's very good, I think it's free, and you can drop images from anywhere, and then you can set a overlay type setting here, and I'll just drop all the images that you have in there. So actually I'm gonna get rid of all these guys. I was working on the Lena pack, and you can go to Pinterest and just pick any chest or any image or whatever you're doing that you like, and you can just right click, hit copy, and then you can just bring it in. And I'm looking for a chest that I had in mind here. I think it's going to be pretty nifty to work on. And again, it's just a rough reference. The idea is to get something so you can just have that in mind. So now that I have that on, let's see if that works. Yep, just paste it, just Control V, and you get something, an image on top overlaid on your screen. It's pretty good. So I like this chest right here. I think it's pretty interesting. That could be a looking creature in there. So again, we're not gonna copy it. We're just gonna use it as a reference and idea. Okay. So the first thing I'm gonna do is get that shape on. Let's get that chest shape going. So start here, and I'm gonna hit. Oh wait, you know what? Let's actually see if I can get my. See if I have it set up. There we go. Okay, so you should be able to see my mouse here. I'm actually gonna put it right there in the center so you can see it better. So you should be able to see. So I'm gonna just grab my cube here, move them, and align it there. So it's that pivot point. It's gonna be in the center and underneath it. There's very cool add-ons for that, but let's just do it the old way. And just right click, set origin, and origin to 3D cursor. And this right here is a 3D cursor. So right click, set origin. You can set to the mass, center of the mass, center surface, and you can move the 3D cursor and set it anywhere and just get that pivot point. So that pivot point is going to do, if I rotate, it's going to rotate from there. If I rotate on the X, it's going to be there. So it's very useful. When you're making game assets, you want to set your pivot point to the exact place, because that's when you drop it inside the scene, that's what it's going to use to set it on, for example, on the floor or any collider and whatnot. If you have it in the center like it was before, you would drop it in the scene with the floor, something on a collider, and Unity is going to read it and put half of the cube inside the floor. So it's very important that you set your pivot point in the correct place. All right, so I'm gonna go inside edit mode, and let's get this guy into a shape. That is what we want, kind of like that. Another thing you should know, like if for example, if I move this here, you see the pivot point is going to be moving around with the object. If I am inside edit mode and I move my object, the pivot point is going to stay. So if I do this, for example, and then I try to rotate, it's going to rotate from within that part, from wherever the pivot point is. So make sure when you are moving, if you ever move any of your objects, you do it outside edit mode so you keep your pivot point where it should be. All right. Okay. So going back to edit mode, let's kind of mirror this guy. So there is like the most useful thing included in Blender is this kind of panel here that you get. You get auto mirror, you get look tools, mesh tools, and whatnot. I'll show you here. If you go to your edit tab, preferences, and add-ins, you get to type loop. You get mesh loop tools, and that is this here. And then you can type mirror, and you get your auto mirror. So you want to have those. Those are incredibly useful. So mirror, as you can see here in my modifiers tab, if I hit mirror with this, it's gonna add a modifier, and it's the same settings, but I don't have to look for it here. So it's super useful, and you can even apply it, make it editable and whatnot, change how it's gonna be, positive or negative. So positive, it just goes from the center to the right, negative from the center to the left. And your XYZ. So we're gonna be working on the X, auto mirror, and now if I move this side, it's gonna be mirroring each of them. It's gonna save us more time. Let's make this a little bit smaller here. So I'm not gonna use mirror again for now, but I am gonna use these tools. I do use them often, and you can expand them here and have even more options for each of them. But I find that the standard options are good enough, so that's alright. So getting that shape here, I'm gonna grab these here, hit one on my numpad to have a frontal view of this, and then just move this on the X. That's by pressing G to grab, and then hit the X key to just snap it to the X axis. So get this kind of curvy on there. And so this has that curve, and it's kind of part of what I really like about it is that real curved part that's not coming on your chest. So, this is somewhat harder version of a chest that you would do. I'm gonna lower this a little bit. It's too high. Well, we can do that later. But what you want to do is, and this is where it's going to come in handy, this part right here. I'm going to grab these two here. I'm going to Control E, bring up my edge menu. Those menus are here as well. So just so you know, you can easily go here and hit subdivide, but I'm used to hotkey, so Control E, subdivide. You see, it just popped up one here, and you grab. There's going to give you a menu. Every time you perform an operation, like subdivide or edge loop or whatnot, you're gonna get other menus. They're gonna pop up. Hey guys, I know I have music on. If it's too loud and you can't hear me, please write on the channel. Let me know. Of course, if you have questions, also you can write in the channel. Yeah, so you're gonna get another menu. In this case, so we did subdivide. Get this menu, and it's gonna give you a couple options. But the options that we really want to work on is get this, add a couple of more loops. So I think for extra points, not loops, we're gonna add points. So for extra point, hey now, how you doing, Nikram? Yeah, that guy makes awesome models too, if I'm not mistaken him. But all right, so we're gonna get this here. I'm gonna switch, hit my. Oh, really good to hear that you're good now. Really glad. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my edge here, edges, holding Control, I can click one edge, or one point or one face, whatever you're gonna select, and then holding Control, I can click another part. It's gonna try to select all the ones that are in the shortest route for it. So for example, if I grab this one and then click this one, oh, we're in mirror mode, and grab this one, it's gonna try to get to it. So I can grab this one and grab this one. So you see, with Control, it's gonna try to find the fastest route. So anyways, just wanted to let you know that. A little trick. So Control and click on the last one so we can grab all these edges. And I'm gonna grab this too, also by holding Shift down. And then I'm gonna do a relax. So see what happened there? I was gonna almost break it. And I wanted to ask you guys, but I'm probably not gonna write it. But the reason this happens is because this has loops. These guys have the enough geometry to bend, but the center doesn't have enough geometry. So these are errors that are gonna happen. I'm gonna actually do a lot of these things so you notice these errors, and then when they happen to you, then you understand why. So what I'm gonna do is, before doing those loops, I'm gonna Control C a couple times here, which actually brings me to another cool thing that I want to show you guys. So go to Preferences, and you want to go to your system, and there's this undo steps. This is commonly very low, maybe like 10. So when you're undoing, you get stuck, and sometimes you do a bunch of stuff and you can't undo back, and that really sucks. So I don't know about others, but I just dropped the highest undo steps I could find, and in this case I think it's 256. So I dropped 256 here, and make sure I have save preferences, and that gives you 256 steps to go back to something if you mess up. So it's good in case you see that you do a lot of undos, just to show you the wrong way or what the error that's going to happen. It's because I have those extra steps added. So make sure you set that up in your Blender. It's a very good thing to have. It does grab a little bit more memory, but again, if you're using Blender, you probably have a good computer, enough memory to deal with it. So now I'm gonna exit edit mode, apply my mirror, and I'm gonna do this on these guys. Okay, so we're gonna do the edge loops on them. So what I'm gonna do is grab only the edges. Here are the faces, edges, or vertices. Or you can hit 2, 1, or 3. So your hotkeys. Get my vertices and just hit Control E, subdivide. Oops. Yeah. Let's do that again because I didn't have this here. I didn't see the menu. I was like, where's the menu? Where'd my menu go? Oh yeah, the reference system is called Pure Ref. It's really cool. You can just copy an image from the internet. Just right click or Control C, or just right click and copy it, and then you can just paste it in with the software selected. It's super nifty, and you can have a bunch of them and just resize them and all that. Super cool. And it has an overlay mode. Has different modes, but I set up overlay and always on top, so you can have 10, 15 images all over the place. I work with a lot of references to get ideas. So back to this thing right here. Let's get us extra edge loops we want. Yeah, we said 4. So now let's try that again. Control, do this here, and let's do 1. Boom. Now you see it doesn't break like it did before because it has somewhere to rest, the other fill point. So now let's select that one and Control, and select this one. It's gonna grab all those and then do relax. And same thing, go all the way down here and relax. Now you see we're getting that shape, and the cool thing is that you see you got iterations, so you can do this multiple times. See, you can do this multiple times. and it'll give you more iteration. It's going to try to bend it more or relax it more. Relax is basically trying to space things out to a point that it's even in reference to the geometry that you're working on. Yeah, dude, it's super useful. I love that. I don't remember where I saw it. I think it was another guy's Twitter or something, and he was using that, and I was like, oh, that's super cool. I think it's free, probably free. So it's like super useful tool. Okay, so now I wanna do this again. So let's do a couple more iterations. Grab all these. Sometimes just relax. It doesn't work when you grab a lot of things or use faces most of the time. So it's more of a testing. So don't worry if it just breaks all around. Sometimes it's mostly because you grab something and you shouldn't have grabbed. Okay, so I think that's pretty nifty. I think the chest is a little bit too uh, wide, so we're just gonna grab all of it. And I want to, you know what, not all of it. Just gonna hit tree, grab my chest, this guys, and here. So this here right here, it's how your tools react respective to the object. So you can have bounding box center, which is all objects they have a bounding box, which is it surrounds them, and you can change those here in settings. You can set it by the 3D cursor. Whatever the 3D cursor is going to be on your viewport, it's going to use that as center reference. Individual origins. So if I have this selected and this selected, it's going to be referred to each of them center point. And meeting point is the overall center of the object. And active element is whatever you have selected. So in this case, we're going to use meeting point because I want to select these guys right here, and I want to scale them to each other, so to the center in between. So I'm going to scale S. It's going to be Y. C is going to go like this. It's going to scale to the center. But I actually want to maintain a little bit of the thickness. So I'm going to hit 2, grab this guys down here, just the edges, and again, scale on the Y. There we go. Boom. I think it's pretty nifty. Yep, that's neat. So now I think this part right here, even though we're doing like a poly style, sometimes you wanna, I prefer a little bit more smooth edges. So I'm gonna Control R to make a loop. You also have this tool here, it's called loop cut, and you have other options in there. But again, I think shortcuts, they help a lot. So I'm gonna Control R, grab a loop, and you can see that it's gonna give you a visualization where the loop is gonna be happening. And if I select this and then use my scroll wheel, I can make a bunch of loops, like crazy amount of loops. It's very nice because it'll give you even space loops, and that's super good when you're working. So I'm gonna put a loop. When you hit the left mouse key, you select it, that's where you want to put the loop, but it'll allow you also to move it around, so you can, pick if you want it down the corner or whatnot. If you hit the right key, it will just put it right then in the center. So I'm gonna do that again, loop, left key, right key, that in the center. And I'm gonna go back to my auto mirror and mirror this. Okay, so here, I wanna grab with these edges, and I wanna do another relax. Grab this down here in the center as well, and do another relax. Yeah, perfect. Now I'm gonna hit 1, go to my vertices, and still have my center, scale on the Y, just move it a little bit with it inside. Okay, so you see if I move this, it moves really fast, and then if I do this, it doesn't move as fast, right? So what I do is when you hit scale, you hold shift down, and that'll give you a lot more precision. That's really good. So when you want to do things and you don't want them to move so fast, I'm gonna grab these guys because I also I want it to be symmetrical and scale on the Y, hold shift, and put it in a little bit, and I think that's really good for what I want. Coming out nicely, good stuff. Okay, so now we're gonna do another look cut here, because I want to get this indentation here, and then right click it, and let's grab this on top. I'm gonna show you another tool, and again, I chose chest because I think we can use a lot of the tools that are used for any other things. So it's just a very basic object to work with. So I'm gonna hit my Alt key. You see this thing right here, it turns on. That's proportional editing. What it does, it gives me the option to proportionally manipulate mesh. And you see that circle? I can make it bigger, so it'll manipulate whatever is inside the circle. If I make it smaller, so it'll just deal with less. Okay, so you make the circle bigger or smaller with your mouse wheel. So you just hit whatever you're gonna do, either the G to move, R to rotate, or scale, however you want it. So I'm gonna, in this case, use the G to just grab and scroll down, and then I'm gonna hit the Z key because I wanna do it on this key. I wanna move it down, and so I'm gonna scroll my radius and circle in the center just enough so I can grab the parts that I want to move. I'm gonna do that again. I think I want a little bit too under. Just smooth it down just to see. Sometimes I move it extremely just to see if there's something else that I might like. But I think that's pretty neat. It's got into that kind of curve shape that I wanted to get out of this chest right here. So awesome sauce. So we've used a couple of tools already, and we already have basic shape of a chest. What we're gonna do here is right click and shade is smooth. And this is how you usually get your your non-poly style. And it depends really on how you want the polygon, the poly style to look. But I like a halfway poly style. If you see my assets like Elijah, they are not super polygonized like the other ones like Cinti, because I kind of prefer a more stylized feel to it. So I just smooth all the mesh out and go here in this tab as the objects tab and grab my normals and just auto smooth it. And there, so we got like areas that are smooth and some areas that are sharp, and you can always go inside the edit mode and you can just grab edges, Control E to get your edge tool, your edge on menu, and then you have these guys right here. Seams are to make UV maps, and sharps, they tell the machine that edge should look as sharp as possible. So it doesn't always look super sharp because you have enough vertices to make it smooth. But the least vertices you have, the sharper it looks. That's why the polygon style is kind of sometimes confused with the low poly, and not because it's polygon. It's low polygon. You get high poly style, and that's because we use the mark sharp. And you see when I mark the sharp, gave me that sharpness of poly style, whereas in this part it's not sharp, doesn't look poly style. So when I mark sharp right there, boom, got that going. Nifty, lovely. All right, so I think we're doing pretty good. I'm gonna hit save. I have not saved. That is a bad thing to do, guys. Save every time, like all the time that you can save. So let me grab this here. Let's drop it here. Let's make a folder. Prompt. And I give this to my Patreon. Grab this here and put chest 1. Boom, got it saved. Nice. Control S, save as many times as you can. Blender 2.8, 2.9, they have like a saving system. You can recover, it has autosave and whatnot, but don't trust it as much. You might lose work. So just keep in mind, Control S is like one of your best friends when you're doing any type of digital art. Okay, so now let's continue. Now I wanna set up the parts. Kind of different from this guy. This guy seems to have. Let me stretch this out. It seems to have kind of the. It's very low down there, and I'm not really sure how this thing opens. Like, to be honest, it's like all around it. It's I really don't know how it opens. But I want ours to be able to be, you can open it, and so you can have it either as a blend shape, or we can even rig it. I think we can set up a little rig, get it working like that. Okay, so let's begin by going like this. Gonna hit 3, and with Control, select it. Gonna click on these faces to grab them. I'm gonna hit the PT. PT is for separating. You can separate by material, by loose part, or section. I'm gonna use section. Materials is of course whatever materials is set up, and by loose parts is very cool. If you merged a bunch of different objects, you merge them, but they are not you know kind of blended within the mesh. They're separate still. So when you use by loose parts, you can separate everything at once. It's a very cool thing for modular creation, for example. So get that, and as you can see now, I'm gonna exit with the tab, exit, go to my object mode. Now this is separate. This is gonna be our top part. So I separated this one. Very cool. Let's do something else. I prefer here, and you got your different types of viewports, either by material, the render. This is kind of a new one, like a shading that just displays the method in different styles. You got a studio, macap, fat, macap. Macap is kind of really cool. You can set up a tune, kind of look. But what I want to do here is in macap, I just select this, and in the arrow here you get your options. I want to use cavity, and here select both. You can see it just makes the edges a lot more noticeable, and that really helps when you're working on things. So it's a personal preference. Just do it if you think it's something that will help you. All right, so we got our top part separated. What we're gonna do now, we're gonna go here to the modifiers. We're gonna grab a modifier called Solidify. Nice. So what it does, it just gives it thickness, basically. So let's post this here. And when you're using Solidify, one thing that you wanna be aware of is that you wanna have your mirror, if you do, on top of Solidify. Always on top. Sometimes, especially when you're working with organics, it just looks super weird when you drop into Solidify, and it's because the mirror is beneath it. So Blender modifiers, they work from top to bottom, and sometimes the position of the modifier is affecting the modifier beneath it. So you need to, it's like telling it, so I need you to mirror this, and then whatever is mirrored, solidify it. Sorry, I'm drinking something. So if it's not if you move this up, then you're gonna telling it solidify the whole thing, and then just cut it. So again, it doesn't break all the time, but sometimes if something goes wrong with your modifiers, just check the position they are on, and that might help you a lot. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna get that thickness out of there. So I'm gonna do the offset is gonna flip it. Offset is inside is negative, offset positive is outside. I'm gonna go like this, give it some nice thickness. I think it's pretty cool. It's good thickness right there. And then we hit this tick numpad slash. It allows you to just go into like a private viewport where you can only see the object that you have selected. If you hit it again, you exit. You hit it again, you're back in it. So I want to show you a few of these options. So flipping the normals. Blue is front-facing normals. Red is back-facing normals. In Unity, if you have back-facing normals, it's gonna look transparent. It's gonna look like always like see-through or broken. So just make sure you always check your normals here in this option in your overlays. You can go down here in face orientation. You can even check your wireframe. Okay, but flipping the normals, you want to have them thick. I like to use even thickness. You see here when I take it off, things might not be super even, but I like to use even thickness. It's not a very significant thing to do, but I like it. High quality normals is, I mean, it helps in certain cases, but I rarely use it. Most of the times dealing with normals is just it messes other things. So I use this if something looks wrong and that fixes it, then but I try it out. But if it doesn't do much or it's not broken, I don't try it out. So only rim is the one I want to show you guys. The only rim, as you can see, let me flip this orientation back up. If I take that out, this is all faces. If I put only rim, it takes out the, the face within it, and that's super awesome. Actually, that's one of the best features of this modifier is that you can create pieces, and if it's gonna be on top of something else, for example, you don't need to have those extra faces. So this is where that comes in. So if we're gonna keep the chest closed, never open it, I suggest you drop this in and you save poly count, face count. If we're gonna open the chest, which is the case in this tutorial, we're gonna leave it off so we can have those faces inside. When you open it, it doesn't look transparent. Okay, so let's go back to our fan. Let's turn off our wireframe. So I think that's good thickness. Now this guy, we need to give it also some thickness. I'm gonna go solidify again. In this case, I'm gonna keep the offset inside. And I'm gonna do even thickness and just bring the thickness a little bit up right there. Let's see how it is. So in this case, the high quality normals, you see how this feels a little bit thicker than I wanted, so that fixes it. That kind of gives us that feel right there. That feels a little bit more even. Perfect. Let's hit back here. Cool. Now, before we start going on details, let's do a test. So let's go onto our numpad slash, go inside our private viewport here, and I'm gonna go into edit mode for this guy. I'm gonna click this here. This here on, it allows me to see all the edges all around, but since it's positive, it's only gonna see, this is the actual mesh and the positive extrude that the modifier made. So get this here. So just so we can see all the points. But I'm gonna hit 1 to grab my vertices, and I want to select the vertices is gonna be the point where the chest door is gonna open from. So we're gonna set up a field point. In this case, the field point should be here. The center, I think, would be a good place to have it. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna right click. So we're gonna shift S, sorry. We're gonna shift S, and we're going to select this one, cursor to selected. This is gonna drive this 3D cursor, is gonna move it all the way to the center of what I have selected. So just release your shift, and it's gonna go to that center right there. Boom. So we have that in a perfect place where we want it. Exit. Now right click, you're gonna set our origin to 3D cursor. Now our origin is here, and if I hit R to rotate on the X, I can open the chest, and it's gonna rotate perfectly. Let's see that right here. Boom, open chest. That's what's up. I'm liking this chest though, pretty cool. Let's move this guy down here. So we moved our pivot point. Now let's shift S again and move our cursor to world origin. I like to have it here in case I do move my pivot point somewhere and just mess it up. It happens. So Control S save. Now that we have this guy right here has thickness, pretty good. I think we can move on and give some colors here just to give it a nice material. So we're doing polystyle. You name it here, you add more materials here, you delete materials, you can even remove unused materials. I use this a lot when I'm copying parts to use and other things. And you can make copies from one, you can save them or put a protection on them in a way that you can only modify with that one. There's multiple things you can do here, but just keeping it simple. You make new materials, you name them, you can select the materials you created here if you want to change one, and here you change the colors. I'm gonna go with brown, like that, and I'm gonna lower my specular. This is polystyle, and I'll do another tutorial where I explain all these guys right here. But basically, the specular is basically the shine. If you use Unity, you know what specular is. So I just lower it so it's flat looking, as flat as possible, more like polystyle tone. Awesome sauce. So let's go back to another place, and here I'm gonna select that with material. Well, we have it, so I don't have to do all the creation of one or the other one. I can just grab the material I'm gonna be using. Select it. Okay, so now we put some materials there. You see them. So I think the next part we can work on. Let's work on getting that, most chests they have a metal bottom part frame, so I'm gonna Control R to make my loop. I think like that should be nice. And as you can see here, so things that happen when you make edges or make vertices on faces without actually creating the geometry is that when your edge loop tool is not gonna work as good. Sometimes things are not gonna be able to cross to the other side, and that's okay. So what we're gonna do is what I did: Control C to go back, do my edge and leave it in the center, do another edge and leave it in the center, right? And then you have those two. I hit K. K is a knife tool. You can create geometry with it. Hit Enter, and it creates extra geometry or loop cuts or cuts itself. So I'm gonna hit K for my knife to make some cuts here. And when you reach a vertex, you're gonna see snaps. That's what we want. We want to snap to the other one, hit Enter, and we got a loop cut. Go back to our edge, number 2, Control, and let me show you something. So I grab this one and I try to do the Control, click this one. It's gonna try to find the shortest path. So sometimes you have to, grab some one that's closer and then go here, or you can just do Alt select, and I'll just grab the loop itself. Okay? Multiple ways of selecting things. I'm just letting you guys know what are multiple ways so you have options. There's a Blender shortcut cheat sheet. Yeah, cheat sheet. So it's very useful. I'm gonna drop it in as well when I upload this to Patreon, so you guys can have it. Okay, so got the loop cut. Now I'm gonna do G, and G allows me to move, but we don't want to move. It's freeform move. So I'm gonna turn this off because we had this on. proportional editing, and still freeform. What I want to do is hit G and G again. Now it allows me to move within the edges that are already there. So I can just go like this and it'll just move within the edges, like a rail. So double G, when you're in selection mode, allows you to move edges and vertices on the edge that it is already. So it's like it works like a rail. Move it down a little bit. I think that's pretty cool. It's big, hefty. Okay. So hit 3. I want to select this, guys. Again, I did the control, so I'm going to use Alt. Yeah, Alt selected all. And what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to show you the solidify part. All right. And you know what? I'm actually going to do it from so you can see the part. So if I release this, the selection, it's going to be separated, right? It's going to have solidify already on it. It's going to keep the modifiers the previous or the parent object had. But let's just do it like if this didn't have that. So now we have this. Let's apply solidify. And you have to apply most of the modifiers on object mode. You can't apply it on editing. It's another thing, just you know. If I go like this, it won't allow me to apply it. So object mode. Okay, so cool. So now I have this and it's applied. I want to hit P, separate it. Now I want to do solidify, and I'm gonna flip my offset so it's going outside. Make it bigger. There's more thickness there. Gonna use the only rim and the even thickness. See, even thickness doesn't like it. Let's move this here. Well, it made it a little bit better. Still not good. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna get rid of the even thickness because it works well without it. So see, this is one of the things that happen. So let me explain to you what this is. This whole thing that's happening. Actually, it looks pretty cool for like a maze kind of thing. Anyway, so what happened is that we already had the mirror modifier applied to it. I'm Control Z. So we already had the solidify modifier applied to it. So we have to get this. I'm gonna turn off this modifier. Grab this. Gonna get it separated. Turn this back on. I grab this, and now on itself, it doesn't have that issue. It's because we already had thickness, and we put thickness on top of it. So it's a good example of what happens when you use modifiers on top of each other, and what are the consequences of applying too early something and without doing some testing. Okay, so now that I applied this modifier, turn it on, and it's working super cool. No problem. Put the only rim, and it's awesome. Because in this case, it's going to be attached to the chest. So we don't need the inside part, so we can use the only rim. And that's very good. And even the even thickness working fine. High quality normal doesn't do anything. Let's turn it off. Let's go back to this. That's it. So we're going to flip this to the positive. I think we went 4 or 5. I think it looks good. Let's see. Yeah, that looks nice. Okay, so let's do this one. And what we're going to do here, in this case, we're actually going to look for our mirror tool. I'll add a mirror it again. And I'm not sure if I want to have it on let's have it here. You know what? No. Maybe, let's see here. Hmm. Yeah, let's do a super weird odd one. So let's have it here. So put my edge there, grab my faces, gonna P, hit P to separate that selection, hit tab to exit, and now it's part of it. So in this case, since obviously this is gonna be working like this and we're gonna be able to see the insides of it, I want to keep the only rim. There's other ways we can do this. Let me show you. So if you have this selected here, you can always, okay, yeah, just turn this off for a second. So we don't have the solidify set up. So if you don't do this with solidify, it's gonna break. Well, I'll show you. It's gonna break. So if I do extrude, you see it's gonna boink out. So don't do that with extrude. We can do it turned off. So if I do this, we can get this out, right? We hit S to a scale on it, move it up a little bit, but we can get those out like that. We can also go like this and even duplicate it and get it outside and get these guys different from there. But it's a lot of extra work unnecessarily, and you'll get all these and you'll have to probably go in. And well, a good opportunity to show you another useful practice is you got these here. These are mirror options, but inside the mirror options or next to it, you got this panel right here, which is merge vertices. If you select this, you have it active. Vertices that are near enough each other are gonna become one. And this is very good for cleaning up mesh. For example, in this case, like I did that, so I can just move this with the double G all the way down, and you can get even really cool geometry like this. You can get really cool geometry. I use this a lot for armors. So I extrude something and then I just connect one side and it gives you that kind of overlapping feel. It's very cool. So you can also grab the control for your vertices, double G, move them inside, grab this guy, double G, move inside, and voila. We got that set up right there. Let's exit, and we got our bodies here. So in this case, as you can see, it has a solidify on it, but now it has like this indentation here. So if I put the only rim, we get rid of it. You can even just get rid of it because it was an extrude. So we already did that whole solidified part. So, boom, we got those. Now we can even continue them all the way down here, but I think I'm gonna actually just keep them on top. I think that's cool enough. Let's turn this guy on, and of course, this is gonna be out of place, so we need to move these guys up. And again, this is another way of doing this. The way that I would probably do it is by just solidifying it and just getting it out. But it works as well. Same thing. But let's do the other way just so you guys can see it. Let's get this, leave these guys. So grab this, Control P. And in this case, you just need to add thickness. You have that. Same result. Works. So again, different ways of doing things. That's all about. That's the thing about making 3D models. That you get to try different ways, and it's okay. Just Failing gives you a lot more knowledge. Just try things, don't be afraid to, and if it breaks, just make sure to do another version. Good practice is if you're doing working on something quite complex or that has a lot of things in it, I would suggest you use the save a copy, which is it'll just save the same location and give it a number. Just put 0.1 for example. You save it and boom, you got another version and you're working on the same version still, but you have a past version. I most of the time use save as, which it'll allow me to save it on that one, and it's gonna change my version. So I'm gonna continue working on the new version, not the old version. So again, it depends on your workflow. Okay, so far we basically have a chest already. So we can go ahead and give it some wood details here. Gonna grab get that there, get that there. Goes there. And good thing you can do when you're using Solidify, you can actually extrude things. So I kind of like those wooden pieces coming out. You extrude with the E key, make it a little wider so I have that expanded plank feel. And get maybe these two. And we're using mirror, so I don't want it to be asymmetrical. One is okay. No, actually, I don't want even those to be symmetrical. So I'm gonna go back and actually apply this, and then we can do some detail. I don't like symmetrical detail. I think it kind of takes away from the creative part of it. So let's spend it a little bit. And for now, you see, if I hit, it's doing this from the other side, from the center. Grab this to individual origin so we can expand from within it. You see this, so I had both grabbed. Yeah, so make sure you have one, not all, not both of them. Just extrude again. Like I said, even people with experience, we make a lot of mistakes. I've had taught kids or people, grown-ups, they get mad because it's like, oh, I keep making mistakes, and they don't understand it's okay to make mistakes. Everybody makes them, and it's just about fixing them. In case you hear a baby crying, I have a 2-year-old, and if you guys have kids, they get pissed and don't care about anybody. So if you hear a kid crying, that's my kid going crazy. I'm gonna make maybe a larger one here. Extrude. Make it a little bit bigger, holding shift so it has more precision. Maybe a smaller one here. G to pull in place. Has to scale it a little bit. And yeah, we need another one. Let's see, that one, so we can grab this in here. Cool. Let's do this. Put this here. And again, we're working with the Solidify, which makes it so much nicer because we don't have to worry about the other edges. So when I want to do things that have thickness, I really do work with Solidify a lot. I think it's a nice tool and it helps you deal with most of the issues. One thing I'm going to do here, I want to give the wood feel. So what we're going to do is I'm going to grab this, guys, and we're gonna go one by one, and we're gonna separate it. You see, it gives an edge, gives you an edge. So we're gonna go one by one, and we're gonna separate them. Select them, holding shift down, P to separate, select them, hold shift down and do the P and just continue doing this. So you can see it just, the solidify is doing its work. It's creating the thickness on each one of them. Let's pick this one a little bit. It can be a little bit lower. There. So I'll go back to face selection, grab this guy's hand, select it. Now, ain't that super cool? And it's the same amount of panels, it's just using the solidify, so you're gonna get a little bit of extra geometry very soon. It's not gonna be a lot at all. And again, if you wanna just put edges, you can just go like this, or like do sharp edges, make it more sharp, and you can do that without separating them, no problem. It works not as detailed, but won't give you these, you know, how you say this, or about the canals, or you know, I know there's a word for it. I'll think about it. But this part right here will give it to you if you use only that. But it does still give you the sharpness sense. All right, so let's save this. I think so far it's looking pretty nifty. See, foot style. Yeah, like it. So let's make another material here so we can separate this guy's in here. Go here, create a new material. It's gonna call it steel. Steel. I'm gonna make this guy. Oops. Like that. And assign it. So you need to select things that you want to assign, just so you know. You can also, let's say we did not assign it, it still would. You made the steel one. You can also go here and select, change it. You want to keep just one of the materials that you're using, whatever, because when we merge them, sometimes it just gets duplicated and we don't want that. Okay, so on this, just for kicks, we're gonna give it a metallic all the way up. Get that a little bit up there. Yeah, gives it that nice shine. We got some lights to take pictures. Okay, pretty cool. You can also do another version of the material, like the material here, and we can animate wood too. And you can just do a slight variation of it. And then you can have other panels have that. Again, this is just preference. It's not, depends on what you want to have, but it gives it that, you know, it's not the same plank. It was built from different planks kind of feel. You can change this guy for wood too. Now this to steel. And we're getting super close to having something really cool we can use. Okay, so going back here, save it. I wanna grab all these buddies. Actually, first, we want to apply these. Let's apply all the solidifiers. Yeah, we need to apply those. Did I apply this one? No. Apply those. We need to apply them before we merge them together. It's important, because then they'll just stack up on each other and lose that. So now we select, we click on all of them, just Control J to join. We have this whole thing. Now we got this guy and this guy. Oh, has a modifier. Yeah. So make sure you don't join when one thing has a modifier in the other one, unless you want to, because the other one is gonna grab the modifier that it already has. So I'm gonna apply this guys as well. I'm gonna apply this fast, and then I'm gonna join it. Yeah, because now works fine. Let's do a rotation and boom. So in this case, I think these guys, they should stay as wood. So the wood is only on the inside, and we can grab these guys and just change them to the color they're supposed to be. There. Cool, 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 cool. Yep. Okay. Cool stuff. Let's rotate it back. Okay. There we go. Close chest. Save it. Now, here is where we decided we want to do the same technique, bunch of planks, or we want to go with something different. I actually think we can go with a bunch of planks. I think that's pretty cool. What I'm gonna do is go to my knife tool, and first go to this one right here. I wanna count how many vertices, because I wanna have the vertices down here before I make them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So if we Control E, subdivide, we should be able to grab 2, 3, 4, 6. Let's see if we have enough. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we should be good. So what we can do is have our knife here, here, oops, here, okay. And you don't have to do it on the other side because, well, right now it's mirrored, but you can work on one side also and just mirror it after, no problem. So we got that, and what we're gonna do is I actually want to do the same thing, but maybe not. Let's test just with a couple of them separated, not as heavy like this. And you can separate them in pairs also and see how it looks. So it has solidify setup. What we're gonna do in this case. Oh, let's do this. Yeah. Sometimes with the colors it's hard to see, so you can play with the offset here just to give it thickness. Just go like that. Yeah, you get some more planks. And this one, like this here. I'm gonna use the edge, mark sharp, get that sharpness in there. Maybe move it a little bit. Get that bent there. It's good. Yep, cool stuff. So now these guys right here, let's do the same for them. I'm gonna use my loop, and 3 should be fine. 3 is good. Grab these, P, 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 P. Same back here, P, to separate those, and then again just play around the offset. You can also just add thickness if you want to go even more outside, so just keep that within it. This one, and maybe a little bit of thickness in this one, but more it's like that. Yep. Looking good. And we can do a little switch here of some materials. This guy change it too. But awesome sauce. So just do a little bit of a lock here. I'm gonna grab these faces right here and just gonna extrude them like so. Gonna grab them, pull them in a little bit, rotate on the X. Just move this down here. Trim them out. And grab this guy, this guy. Let me see if we're mirroring right now. Okay, so we're gonna extrude them together. Go up to here, for example. And then, so I have an add-on called Smart Fill that it fills things in a very simple way and useful way. But without this add-on, what would you need to do in this case is you'll have to go into your edge and grab each edge and hit F to fill them together. So the add-on that I have, it just allows you to just hit F one time and it fills them with geometry, which is super useful. So grabbing this right here. Now we need one from here. So it's flat. So I'm gonna grab the steel one down here on solidify. Can we get rid of this solidify? Yeah, I think we can. Let's grab this a little bit thicker. I think this is something. Oh yeah, because the wood is a lot. It's more outside. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, that's good. I thought it was not center because it looked like there's no space here. It's because of this panel here. Okay, so I think we can solidify this guy already. Let's just do this. Have that set up so it's on. You can also use Control B to bevel. You can make some nice corners if you like, but I mean, depends on what is the style you're looking for and how detailed you want it. Okay, so getting this, gonna another loop here. Yeah. And I grab my face, I'm gonna extrude that face. Gonna grab this face and extrude it. And this is gonna be our, locking mechanism right here. And what I'm gonna do is, actually, you know what? This is something for it. Let's grab this, like this, extrude this. Small here. So this is gonna actually put the lock in this guy. gonna grab and use a ledge loop here. Okay, so it's not grabbing that, so no biggie. Use the eye and insert the face, make it smaller, and we can extrude this out right there. So I'm thinking maybe we want it to be able to flip. That's what I'm thinking about right now. Maybe we want it to be able to flip open. So yeah, let's grab this up to here and then just make another one. Here, G, to move it back a bit. I'm gonna grab and do some extra loops here because I am going to add an extra geometry here. It's gonna be a cylinder. The options here, I'm gonna put 8, so I want it to be simple. Oops. Okay, something that you might want to know, this happens. You see, sometimes if you have this open and you bring in new geometry, if the vertices for some reason, unlucky reason, line up with what you had, they'll merge. So good practice to have this shirt off. Luckily, it did not happen, but it happens. Something just, for some reason, just lands on it. You got it merged, and then you have to be, delete it and do it again, or start breaking vertices apart. So we're gonna rotate this on the y-axis 90 degrees. Gonna scale it down. G to move it on the y-axis. G to move it on the z-axis. I'm gonna scale it down again. I think that's good size. Move it on the y-axis again a little bit. There. I'm actually gonna rotate it on the x, so the flat part kind of matches there. A little bit flatter. Doesn't bother a lot with that. Okay, and what we're gonna do is scale on the x, make this bigger. Now we can get this guy to flip. First thing we need to do is separate this guy and set its origin to mass volume is right there in the center right there. Now we're gonna shift and so wait, it already rotates there, that's good. So what we want is this guy. And select this, separate it as well. And we want to join it with this one. So when we rotate, this opens like that. We missed one. Okay, so if you miss one, you just need to do selection, grab it, grab the other one, join it, they're together, but this is gonna happen. If you do that, this is gonna be separate. So what you wanna do is all, A for grabbing all, in edit mode, go to mesh and do merge by distance. See, remove 4 vertices. These 4 vertices that were together, it did the same operation here. So mesh, clean up, merge by distance, and this is merge vertices. So now that I move it, it's all together. It's a good practice just to hit that option and just clean up the whole object when you're done as well. So we can rotate this. Awesome sauce. So let's do another operation. I'm trying to think of ways of doing the things in a way that I haven't showed you, that I haven't done in the video yet. So that's why sometimes I'm like, let's do this operation. Let's go back to this so it's easier to see. Let's use a bool operation. I'll use a bool operations for this. So let's we can probably do it here. So let's grab, see if we can do a loop cut. Yeah, perfect. So we can do a loop cut here. Great. Let's go into our private view here. Let's do another loop cut. Let's see. Let's pull it up. I want to make, you know, the part that sticks out. Okay, so we have those loop cuts there. So you don't have to keep these if you just only kind of want what's in. You can just Control X and eliminate those. It's up to you. Sometimes it's not really necessary to have it. If it's not going to move, geometry isn't necessary. So we're going to extrude this. See, extruding down. We don't want that to be, because it's going on its local axis. We want to hit Y, so it goes on the forward axis. And then we want to go here in our loop tools and hit flatten. As you can see, that got this all flattened up. Let's flatten this guys also. You can also use relax, helps as well. Make sure that's a little bit, that's as flat as possible. So we can grab these, let's go back and just grab Y, pull it out, grab Y and pull it out a little bit more. It's a little thick, but I mean, depends on you. Stylized, you can do whatever you want. In this case, I'm gonna leave it like that, but you can always just, if you want, scale it on the X, scale it down. That works as well. I mean, you can also get rid of this, but make sure you don't go all the way out. You can, if you want, just get rid of this guy, just select them and get rid of that. I'm not gonna use them. Again, if it's not gonna bend or move, it's sometimes just unnecessary to have. So far, looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and do a Boolean. The Boolean operation is where you get to merge things and make them react to each other. Let's see if I have. I'm checking if I have those here set up. There is a Boolean. Let's see if we can find it. If not, then we'll just use the modifiers. Let's see if we can find the object bool. Yeah, it's activated. It's supposed to be activated on the tab edit here, but I don't see it. Yeah, it happens. It's probably here in the mesh tools, and they just change things. I literally don't see it, but all right, cool. We'll just use modifier, no biggie. Try to find it because I kind of like it on the panels. So for this, what we need to do is exit, edit mode, Shift A to grab a new object, and get another cylinder. But you can also do is here, you go into grab this that has a cylinder, edit mode, hit the L key to grab an island. And the island means that it's going to grab something that is not selected, that is not all merged up with the vertices. I already had this selected, that's why that happened. So you want to click on the object that you want to grab, hit L, and you get an island. You can just select that one. And you can Shift D, duplicate this guy, while selecting it, P to selection, exit edit mode, and I have cylinder. It's going to be as useful. So 3 to get on the side view. Let's move this guy here, scale him down to nice size for block hole. There we go. So what you want to do is you need to grab and select the one that you wanted to be modified. And you know what? Before we do this, I want to apply my mirror. I don't want it to mess with the mirror. So let's go ahead and grab the boolean. Here you see it's called boolean. And it's gonna ask you, like, which one is the object that you want to make the operation with. So let's grab this one. And let's see what happens. Nothing, because I did this in the wrong one. So it's probably on this one. Let's try that. So it did that operation, good. Okay, so now you have different operations here. So you can see you got union, got difference, and seems I had it right the first time. So it's this one that needs to have it. Boolean, grab this guy here, and intersect, now union, now, and difference. Let's see. Well, I'm messing up here. I really gotten used to, oh, my bool tool. Hey, there we go. Oh, see, this is new to me. So if I'm in edit mode, the tools changes. In edit mode, okay, cool. I like that. It's neat. It's good. So this guy. Let's see. So let's see here. It gives you all the options of what we're talking about. So in brush volume, it allows you to test without consequences. So this is what we wanted to do. Make that hole right there. So you still have this guy. Okay. So one thing that I feel that it's messing it up is that it's all complete here, all together. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab this entirely. I'm gonna separate it and just work with it along. So that's gonna be a lot better. Okay, so that did the whole. There we go. That's the issue that's happening. Somehow there's a thing there. Apparently I had a plane inside here. Let's get rid of it. Good. Okay, so the operation is you use slice for the operation. See, it has a little hole. So it got rid of the cylinder that I had, and it made this shape right inside of it. So that's basically the operation. So with the mirror, what happened is that when I used the mirror, I had a plane. When it cut in half, I had a plane right in the middle. That's why it wasn't working like that. So sometimes those things happen. So let's test it out. Just rotate X. Got that exit right there. And we want. So I want to make this probably higher on this guy right there. And this guy, let's make this like this. Just want to make that hole also. Get rid of this space. Get rid of that space. You hit X and you get rid of those spaces. Go to my edge and let's separate. Go to our private view. Grab this guy's here. F to fill. This one F to fill. This one F to fill. This one and F to fill. And we got ourselves that part right there. And you can just rotate and use for a locking mechanism. So I think we got all our parts together. So let's apply this guy, apply this, apply this, apply. You have all you guys have to be applied, and apply the mirror. Apply. 2.9 actually has a shortcut or shortcut key for this. That's pretty cool. But I'm using 2.8 because I don't know if most people already switched to 2.9. So 2.9 they got rid of this, and you just Control A, and it just applies them. Which I find that very nifty. It just allows you to move a lot faster. So let's grab all these guys. Yeah. Got them together, and let's click on. Wait. I wanna not grab this guy, nor this guy. I wanna grab this one. And let's see. I wanna move it. Okay, I grabbed what I wanted. The floor. All moved. And when I Control Join, yeah, we have this separate part. Now we want to have this join to. Wait, let's make sure you're on. Okay, no modifiers. Shift, join. Good. Now, right now, this is not gonna be able to rotate. It could change the pivot point to rotate on itself. But I want to show you guys how to make a quick, simple rig. So you can do that and maybe even animate it. So simply save it. Let's give it a name. Chest. I don't know. 4. Chest. And this is chest body. And what is this? Okay, so since we kind of be merging around, sometimes I end up with a cube or something that I started off initially, and by separating, I just left the object empty. So you just go ahead and grab that one, and you can delete it. It's nothing. Cool beans. Change the color. This guy to steel. And hey, you can add a bunch of different things if you want later on. Let's see, we got a mess up here. We found a mess here. Let's fix this. So something broke here. Probably when I was doing the modifiers, going back and forth. So no problem. Just find the mess. Who is it? And where is it? And yep, we found the mess. See what I told you? Make sure you merge when when you don't have modifiers on. That's really important. Going back all the way until there we go. So one of these guys, there we go. We had modifiers. We really need to make sure those modifiers are not on because things break. And like I said, it's common. It's okay. Things break, and most of the times it's because you missed something. So let's try this again. I think I got rid of all the modifiers. Just try it. And no, I did not. These guys had the mirror. Okay, let's go back again. Get rid of the mirrors. Check everybody again. Okay. Once more. Let's see. Here. Let's join. Something broken? Let's check. Broken. Seems we made it. Awesome. Cool stuff. All right, so we got our buddy here. Now we need to apply this guy here. So you can do something as well. You can either use a blend shape for this to open this panel right here, but a lot of times it doesn't work well. So these are mostly for facial expressions and whatnot. I use them for length or size as well, which is pretty cool. But for example, let me show you. Go to do a basics. You need always a basic. This is the reference from what it would change from. Then add a key. Let's say open log. For example, I'm going to edit mode and let's grab these and rotate it. So we need to grab it by the medium point, and we're gonna actually need to set a pivot point for it. But just to show you how the shape key works, let's just move this like this. Move it like that, for example. And then it's back to it. So when you go like this, you have the shape key. So to deal with shape keys, you really have to make sure that they don't mess up with the scale. Sometimes they mess up with the scale, and there's other things you can do to fix the scaling issue, but it's not necessary. Most of the times it's a waste of time. So what I suggest is we go here, and let's name this again. Let's go chest body. Alright. This is the other part. It's gonna be called chest door. And then we have this body down here that is empty. Now let's do a simple rig. There's a simple rig, and the simple rig is, you know, the basics of any other rig that you might encounter. Just change this color with the L, select that, and just move the steel. Save. Cool. Okay, done now. Shift A, go to armature, single bone. Let's go down here to this guy running viewport display, and in front. That will make it be seen in front of everything. So you want to have that. Click 1. Go to edit mode for the rig itself, of the bone. Scale it down on the X. And I suggest that you always have a root bone when you're working for things that are not humanoids. You want to have a root bone that is going to set what is the local axis. So things move along a specific way and they don't bend oddly in Unity. So this is going to be our root chest. The rig itself, we're going to call it chest root, chest rig. And now go back into it, edit mode, and what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this, grab it and duplicate it, and press the Y axis, move it there. Gonna G and Z to move it up. I want to position this kind of as center as possible there. There's other ways that you can make it perfect, but it should work for this pretty good. So I'm gonna right click on it and switch directions. You can do Alt F also, and what that's gonna do is gonna flip the direction of the bone. So this bone basically is gonna be the block glue. We're not gonna animate this. It's just gonna be just to hold this part right here. Go back 3 here and extrude. Here, one thing you can do is you got this magnet thing, a snappy tool. You got options here. So what you want to do is grab volume and set it to center. And whenever you move this, it's gonna try to get into the center of the object itself. So that's the snap tool, just so you know. So you can grab that and just make sure you're kind of inside this, and it should be right there in the center right there. Turn this off. So when I rotate this guy, it should rotate fine. It's rotating from within this. It's going to post mode. You can go to post mode here while you're working with it, and it rotates how we want it, just from right in the center. Alt R to reset rotations, save, go back to object mode, and what we're gonna do now is gonna grab this, the object that we want to rig, grab the rig, we're going to control P to parent, send parent, and most of the times you do automatic rigs. We're not going to do that because this is an inanimate object and it's easier just to have empty groups. So we're going to have empty groups and it's just going to pop up here. Grab this guy here in your object and see the bone names, they are here. These are the vertex group. This is what dictates what we are going to have. We can change this to walk also. Let's see if I change the name here just to walk. Good. Okay, so now let's go to this guy and we have the lock bone. That's the one we want. We're gonna select this L and L and we're gonna assign it. So here we can see, if I'm not mistaken, seems to be here. Vertex group weight. So in this option right here, you can grab vertex group weight. It allows you to see the vertex group. So blue means no weight at all. Red means it has full weight. So if we go here and rotate, has full weight. Get that? Just rotate. So now we have that rig. Super awesome. Awesome sauce. What we can do also is go back to edit mode and we're gonna extrude one on the z-axis. Cut here, it's pretty big. Extrude on the z-axis. Actually, I'm gonna put it here right in the middle. And then G to move back to this part right here. I want it to be where this part is gonna rotate up. Okay, and now what we're gonna do is from there we're gonna extrude on this axis and make a huge bone right there in the middle. And this bone, we're gonna delete this guy. You see this line? This is a relation line. So we want to do this the same as well. We want this because when we move this pose, we move this guy, it's moving this, but this guy is moved, all left alone. So we want to be in edit mode, select, and select the parent, control P, and then keep offset. Do it because if you hit connected, for example, it's going to move all the way back there. So you want it to be keep offset. So it's going to be connected, but keeping its location. So if I just select this one, now everything moves. And you can see the lock moves with it. Okay, so going back to this, now we want to grab this guy. And let's see, this is the chest door. Perfect, so we're going to have the chest door. Now grab this guy, go to our vertex group. And yep, so we're gonna do the same thing. Grab it, structure, and with empty group. Cool. So we got the chest door now here. Make sure this still works. It does work. Okay. So let's grab this guy, go to edit mode, chest door. Perfect. So we want to assign it. Oops. Assign it. Perfect. Gotta select it to assign it. If we go like this, chest door opens. Awesome sauce. So you see this here. So what happened is that this guy right here is parented or is weighted with this bone as well with this bone. So it's fighting between them. What we need to do is we need to get probably this parented to this guy instead. Yeah. Oops. Now let's see if this moves how we want it. Yep, it moved perfectly. Of course, this guy would need to be rotated on its own. So what's happening here, you see this guy has still influence on it, so we need to fix that. So for that, I usually just tend to go to weight painting. Let's check it out first. Block. Okay. Now let's grab this guy. This and this. The chest door has influence on it, so we need to remove it. Now it doesn't have influence. Should move without any problem. And then this should move without any problem. And we have an opening chest. Perfect. So one last thing I want to go with you guys to teach you how to make the small animation for it. Super simple. Let's go to our animation tab. You can get rid of this guy or here. And we can also make a lock later. You can make a lock of it and just animate it so it unlocks and drops on the floor and whatnot. But it'll be easy peasy here to work with. So what I want to do first is you want to select this. It is gonna record every movement you do. You see, it's gonna record every movement you do. So first, and the second thing you want to do is keying here. You wanna go here and select scale. That rotation, location, and scale of the object. So when you hit the I key, which is insert a keyframe, when you have your mouse over here, you hit I, insert a keyframe. You see here, insert a keyframe for set for location, rotation, and scale. It's gonna put a keyframe of all those parameters for whatever bones you have selected, and that's super useful. Make sure you have that. So let's grab all the bones with the A key, insert location, perfect. And now I want to move myself, grab myself from here, go to action, and we're gonna create specific action. Actions are like animation clips, but in Unity. So this one is gonna be the unlock chest. Perfect. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna move this to 40, set the end to 40. And what we're gonna do is move the lock to the last position we want it. So let's say we want it to be, for example, all the way open up here. Perfect. So that's open. So in the middle, this is gonna open like that. What we wanna do is maybe give it some, kind of edgy flow. So what I'm gonna do is rotate this a little bit here. So kind of, you see it starts really slow and then it snaps open. Boom. Okay, so when things kind of open up, they wiggle a little bit. So let's do this. We grab this, let's copy this position, let's move it here, and let's make them reach that position faster. And then it's gonna kind of stop in that way. So what we're gonna do is we can scroll in here to make it have more to work with. So what we're gonna do is on this second frame after, we're gonna move it further up, and then the other one we're gonna move it further a little bit down. It's gonna have that wiggle. Okay, so here's a little bit of trial and error. It was too much in my opinion, so let's do just a little bit, just a little bit. There we go. Okay, so let's just put this 45 so we can have some edge. This guy, and you can just move them around. Yeah, so you can have that. And it feels like it's too much time to open the chest. So let's try here. Yeah, it looks a lot better. Boom, perfect. So let's do that and move this to 35. Yeah, nice. Okay, so now let's do, this is unlock chest. Let's do, I'm gonna grab all this and copy it. Oh, we don't need that. It's just a habit of doing different. But let's just make a new one. You know, the little two papers just makes a new one. So this is gonna be open chest. Perfect. So you keep these things. You don't need them. You can have two animations and play them, or you can have just one animation doing all of it. But let's say we have one animation just opening this, and then let's put another 60 frames, and then so when it goes like this, right then and there, this guy just rotates. Should just mark that there. We go to the end. Like I said, you mark. You wanna. Those are called the poses. You want to set up poses first. The first pose, the end pose, and then in the middle you work with them, and you make them as much. You want to have as much detail as you want with the animation. So it opens and then boom, it opens. So I want to kind of again make it slow, open a little bit slower. So I have it here. Oh, that's not it. We want this one. Copy, put it here, boom, and I'm just gonna open a little bit. So it kind of slowly opens and kind of just swings open at the end. Yeah, yeah, it's the BT side. Just have a little bit of room like that. Yeah, good. So now that we know this, what I want to do, right? I want to copy this part and just paste it here so we can have that wiggle room that we did before. And we're gonna, yeah, so here, rotate it a little bit down, this one a little bit up, and you like this. So, so like, boom, boom, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so just quick animation right there. Again, you polish it, and if you know about animations, you know you want to get into your graph editor here and make your ins and out as smooth as possible and all of that stuff. But again, it's just way to make simple animations for chest, and I hope all the things that we did today serve you in future models that you'll be making. I think it came out pretty nifty. I'm gonna add this for Patreons. Shout out to you guys. I really appreciate your supporting my work. And there's a lot of things coming on that I have planned. So, any questions? You have my Discord. I think it's attached to uh, the Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and if you have any questions, I'm basically all the time here. So even if you're not a Patreon or you're not one of the users of my assets, I don't mind helping people if you have any questions regarding 3D modeling or all that. So again, thank you again for watching. Really happy to be doing this, and have an awesome day. Just gonna head out and have some food. I'm like starving. All right, guys, have an awesome day. Thank you so much for watching my stream. See ya.
Remember what I said? I said I would go with you, no matter how far. We're going to survive, and we're going to find the truth. I promise. Come on, let's go. I'll always stick with you. I'll always stick with you.